for fast, cheap, and reliable Madden 21 Ultimate Team coins. Make sure you guys go check out my sponsor, Easy Mutt. Use code VENOM at checkout for 5% off. Yo, what's up guys, Venomfire here, back with a video, and today I'm bringing you guys an updated defense, updated way to run one of the most popular defenses, and that's as far as stopping the run, and maybe a couple of pass defensive setups as well. I think it's always good to have at least two good run defensive setups out of a particular play, especially if it's the play that you're going to be running the entire game, because certain runs will beat certain run defenses in different ways. So I'm going to show you guys a couple of different ways to stop the run, not only the traditional way, but also another way that you don't really see too much online. Also, before we get into the video, make sure you guys do go ahead, hit that like button. It is my birthday, so that'd be a great present. Also, go ahead, hit that subscribe button again for that 17th birthday present for your boy. But yeah, we're going to be in the 4-6 defensive playbook. Again, we're running a popular play, so we're going to actually run the Mike Blitz 3 out of the 3-3-5 wide. Again, you guys probably know the traditional setup. We'll review it a little bit, but I do have another setup that's going to be very, very deadly out of this, specifically against the inside zone, because that's really what you'll see the majority of the time. Of course, these setups work against most runs as well, but mainly that inside zone. So we're just going to run Mike Blitz 3. Now, I'm not going to do the audibles just to save some time, but you can typically get safeties at outside linebacker. Again, I don't really care to do that in practice mode because there's not really a benefit, but that is something you could do. Again, get your user in the middle here, Jeremy Chin, and you can come out in it with auto flip on preferably. Now, the run that I'm going to choose on offense is going to be this inside zone out of gun trips tight end offset. I feel like it's just a pretty sound run. You have this guy on the line of scrimmage just a little bit offset, so it can kind of appeal to not only a regular inside zone, but an offset one, depending on the formation. But this is just a pretty good balance or equalizer of most inside zones in the game, so that's the reason I chose it. Now, hopping onto the field here, let's show the normal way to run the run defense, and it works pretty well. I will say that it's not as good as the second one you'll see, but it's pretty dang good. I'll show you guys how to adjust out of it, how to do different things. So first thing you're going to do is press. You're going to shift your defensive line to that right-hand side. You're going to slant them to the left. And then the last thing you're going to do is just pinch your linebackers. Now, it's very important that you pinch your linebackers. Sometimes I've seen it, at least with this particular run, and this can be the case for other formations as well. If you don't pinch your linebackers, which I might actually do on the next play just to show you what it looks like, then sometimes this center can actually get free, or your user won't be able to get free. It's a little bit weird. You'll see it better when I actually do it, but right here, that is a look at it. And that was definitely not done perfectly. Of course, I do have the computer playing right now, so I don't get super good timing, but that was definitely not run the best it could. But you see, we're still able to shoot the gap pretty well there. Now, we're going to run it now without pinching our linebacker. So we're just going to do the defensive line adjustments, run everything relatively stock. We'll see if it works, and that's usually the result that can happen. And that, again, is probably a formation thing. But that's the risk you run if you're not going to pinch your linebackers, and there's not really a reason to not do it. You see, again, I was running this earlier without pinching my linebackers, and I was getting it free. I'm not sure why it's happening now, but I would say pinch your linebackers just to be safe. Again, there's not a penalty for doing it, so you might as well continue to do it. So again, we're running those basic adjustments. This is a look at what you should get, and you see it's not super clean. You can kind of change things around as far as your user position. That's probably what I would recommend doing. If he's not getting super clean through here, maybe I move him just a little bit over to the middle. Now I can get potentially picked up this way, and you see, I think a lot of it has to do with how the gap is actually developing. So in this particular run, these particular players on the field, you see how that right guard tends to push him to the left, and that's usually where we're going to be running with Jeremy Chin. So if I notice that happening, maybe I want to move just a little bit over here or something like that. So you can definitely kind of catch on to these things, and now we get a super clean run. So the way the reason that worked mainly is because the center just seemed to completely slide over to the left side immediately. He actually picked up the double team block. We didn't get as big of a push, which of course did make the difference, but you see, it just gave us a little bit more room. Whereas if I'm standing on the left side, the center and that right guard are probably a little bit more compressed, therefore not allowing me to run through the gap as I normally would. So there you see it. Again, I could even potentially stand a little bit further than the left than I did right there, but pretty good timing. A stop and go is going to be pretty difficult to do, even with a perfect stop and go. It's going to be likely a shoestring tackle at the minimum. But you see here, we just get that clean hit stick. Of course, the right side's not perfect, and that's because we are in a trips tight end set, but against other formations, you would probably get better things coming off that edge. But let's hop into it just a couple more times. I'll run it one more time stock, and then we'll hop into, again, some of the backside adjustments, show you that it works with our typical backside adjustments. There you saw it worked when I was standing over to the left. We missed the hit stick, but again, you see that center just kind of running towards us. That if that's something you're not super comfortable with, again, you might want to stand a little bit over to the right or even just completely to the right. Here we'll snap it, easy run, easy hit stick, right on the handoff, and that's what a perfect run defense should look like. We'll hop into it a couple more times. This time we're just going to throw hard flats on the field. Now I don't have my zone drop set, but typically it would be flats at 5, curl flats at 25, and now we'll just kind of run it. You see it should be the same result if my calculations are correct, and there you see nothing really changed. Of course, since it's a run, since they're so close to the line of scrimmage, they're pretty much going to play the run off snap, whether they're on a blitz or whether they're in zone coverage. So again, it doesn't really make a difference. Again, I'll set it up just one more time here. We'll try and stand over to the left side. And you see that time we actually got picked up. So typically if you see that happening, don't stand over to the left. Pretty simple enough. Sometimes it won't happen when we're standing over to the left. Like I ran it online pretty consistently, and the center usually won't be able to pick me up through there. Usually he'll get a double team block. But again, some things probably have to do with the ratings of these defensive players and offensive linemen, things like that. So these results can vary a little bit online, as I've mentioned. But let's hop into the actual better setup, and it's going to be our second run defensive setup. What we're going to do is just flip a couple of things. It's going to be pretty simple. All I'm going to do is press. Once again, I'm going to shift my defensive line to the actual side. You've seen people for the majority of the year, or at least since this 3-3-5 wide was a little bit more popular, they've always ran run defense, shifting it to that weak side. Not only for blitz purposes, but again, just for run D, it is a solid run D. So, but we're actually going to run it to the other side. I think I have posted a couple of run defenses where I've done this, but not super in depth. So again, you're just going to shift to the strong side, which is the left. The next thing that you're going to do is just slant to the right, and then you're just going to stand here. If I am running it correctly, I don't believe you have to adjust your linebackers, and there you see it. That is what a perfect run looks like, or a perfect run defense. So for this one, again, you don't have to pinch your linebackers. I'm not sure why it's so much different, but I mean it is. So that's the game can be pretty weird like that sometimes, but you see how big the hole is. I don't even have to time it remotely perfect to just be able to run through. And you see how I just have such a larger margin for error. And that's going to be good for some of you guys who are a little bit lower level and they don't have as good user stick skills as some other experts or pro players or things like that. This is going to be a lot better for you guys just because you don't have to have perfect timing. You don't have to have perfect guessing. You don't have to guess perfectly where he's going to go. And you see, all you have to do is run straight. I don't have to run from right to left or left to right. I don't have to read what's happening with my D tackle. Is he getting pushed to the left? Is he getting pushed upfield? All I have to do is set it up the same. And again, I don't have to pinch my linebackers, which is just a little extra bonus. So overall solid. I do think I can get actually pretty close to the line of scrimmage. It shouldn't affect it realistically. And again, it doesn't. You see the man that's going to end up picking up the block, or who would pick up the block, is going to be Evan Ingram. I'll set it up just pretty far away, and Ingram should be able to pick up this block. He is faster. But you notice how just the blocks develop in a completely different way. That time you see Ingram, he just didn't pick me up. So if I didn't miss the hit stick, I still would have been able to make the play, whether I'm 2 inches off the line of scrimmage or I'm 5-7 yards off the line of scrimmage. This is what I mean when you have a large margin of error. And of course that's going to be better in a run defense. So again, I'm just going to stand a little bit further back, get a little bit of a running start, and then we'll see if we can make the play. The next one, I'll stand a little bit closer just to show that it does work pretty consistently. And you see, the computer does have some weird movement. I was just kind of guessing that he would run upfield, but he did kind of juke me out there. For this next one, we're going to go ahead and stand a little bit closer. We'll see if that actually works. I'm kind of trying this on the fly. You don't want to stand too close because then you actually could get picked up, but you see there, pretty dang close. And again, this is not with perfect timing. I have to stand still in order for the computer to actually snap the ball. So I'm losing just a little bit of time, split seconds, which can of course end up making differences there. I'm not sure why I can't make a tackle right now, but you see, even without me making a tackle, I'm forcing him to run into other players, and usually he'll be able to get at least one block shed on a 5-down lineman set. Let's hop into adding the pass defense. So we're going to add these hard flats, just a standard, again, basic zone. I'll actually throw in just a little pass defense at the end of the video, just for those of you that actually stayed, but set everything up the same. Slant to the right. We're just adding those hard flats, or those flats rather. There you see that is, again, perfect run, perfect animation. If you are running this correctly against an inside zone, you should be able to hit stick him right when he gets the ball. If it's a non-offset inside zone, like a trips tight end or a wide trips or a doubles, then he's going to get the ball a little bit quicker depending on the side that he's actually running to. So maybe you don't go for the hit stick. Maybe you kind of strafe up, see where he's going. Usually if they see a gap in the middle, they're going to end up cutting it back to the right. If they're running to the right, if they're running to the left, they're going to cut it back to the left. So that's things that you probably want to catch up on, but you see, again, adding these zones does not really affect the play in any way, shape, or form. Again, run it there, perfect hit stick, and this is why. You see, it's just so much more successful. There's so much added extra stuff that I can just take out, and that's where I said if you're a lower skill level player, this is going to be better for you. We'll just run it one more time here, and then we'll hop into that pass defense that I mentioned. We're just going to go ahead and wait, and hopefully they snap the ball. Again, you see I have to be absolutely still for like a couple of seconds. There we go, blow them up in the backfield. We get a shed, we get another shed, and we just have 2 guys there to make the play. So let's hop into the pass defense. Just going to be brief. I'm just going to show it a couple times. I'm not even in a pass play, so I'll just show the setup, but you won't actually see it in action. Of course, with my zone drops, I would have curls at 25, flats at 5. We already said that, but we're just going to do a little bit of flipping. Now, again, I'm going to set it up like this. I'm going to go with the better run defensive style. Of course, I could shift to the right, but all I'm going to do is I want to bluff blitz on the field, but I actually want a linebacker, because when you have a defensive lineman on a bluff blitz, they're a lot less athletic. I've had people throw it right at them. They either don't react, they can't jump, or what will happen is they'll just drop an interception, which happens a ton, trust me. But instead of having a D lineman, either Brian Burns or Stephen Weatherly, we're going to put a linebacker. Now, I can't throw A on a bluff blitz. This is what happens when I put him on a bluff blitz. He literally just stands there. I don't think anything happens. So we want to leave him on the blitz. We're going to eventually end up putting him in a hard flat anyway, but we're actually going to throw this guy right here, Taylor. So when I put him on a bluff blitz, there we go. Now he's in the 3 receiver hook. And then what I'm going to pretty much do is put X in the hard flat. And we're just going to run it like this. Now, I'm actually going to try and see if this run defense works, but pretty much what's happening is the hard flats aren't really going to have to react that much anyways. If you have athletic defensive ends, they're pretty much going to play the same in the flat as a safety relatively. Or again, the hard flats, the safeties aren't going to do a whole lot other than wrap up. But the biggest difference is I'll have a safety here running that 3 receiver hook. He's going to be a lot more athletic. He can jump. He can fly across the field, and you're going to have 99 speed versus 90 speed. It's going to be a pretty big difference. Now, I actually want to see if this run defense will still work. I kind of expect it to, and you see it still does. So you can easily set up this defense every single play, and it would work via pass or via run. As you see right there, I'll set it up just one more time here. Again, shift. You can slant to the right away, press, bluff blitz X, hard flat A, and then just go ahead, hard flat X, referring to those defensive linemen. Again, I can just kind of stand here, wait for the ball to be snapped, and even a split second late, we're meeting him at the line of scrimmage. Now, Saquon's just a beast, so he's going to break those tackles, but very solid defense. You see, I can only have 2 people rushing. Really, it's just how I shift and how I slant. I think it has a lot to do with this guy right here, K1 Short, and you saw that through the first one. But overall, that's going to do it for the video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you smack a like on the video. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel as well. Follow me on Twitter. Link will be down below in the description. And peace. I'm out of here.